I wanted to ask you about this sense of being a hybrid and thinking across different languages, and finding a new language.
Sure. I'm so happy you read Radical before, because I think for me, Radical is much more important to understand my books or my films, because Radical in Chinese, we all know, it's called 部首, is the way the Chinese character is composed. And of course, Radical has other meanings. Rushing forward is about being avant-garde. But I think in my narrative, Radical really means the fundamental structure of language. The Chinese words 部首. And in Latin, the same, radice is the composition, the foundation of a word in Latin. So it's all connected when we talk about language. When I say hybrid I might be speaking English, but I think the thoughts, the identity, if you like, the memory is such a hybrid, it's not pinned to one thing. And I think intellectually I'm very much influenced by the Western literature, the great Western kind of cinema and literature, and I think that almost kind of rewritten the habit I had before I came to this country, when I was 20-something, writing entirely in Chinese language. And that hybridity is not defined by languages. I guess with Radical book, I felt very close to, I felt very intimate to all my books, but some are less so intimate, strangely. And I think I felt very close to Radical and to My Battle of Hastings because they are, of course, most recent. But Radical is a book, I try to somehow using basic two languages, Chinese and English, at least in the title section every 2 pages, kind of unleash a discussion about our multiple identities, multiple possibilities in terms of thinking and the choices, and refuse to be bound into one. And what's interesting, I think, is in political study, the national identity is always put forward as kind of argument. And I think for artists is way sort of is to put all this forward. It's something very interesting, as American linguist, philosopher said, Noam Chomsky said, there's a particular language, and then there's a universal language. There's a universal superstructure underneath the language, whether you speak Russian or Chinese or English or whatever other language. This universal linguistic structure is almost like a superstructure. So you can't escape that superstructure. And I think that's something where, in a way, we cook together from different, I think, whatever you call it, culture, ethnic difference. We are kind of all hybrid. And I think that's the richness of language, or any languages, if the language is alive still. So I use these kind of ideas to write my books. So storytelling might be a bit hidden in the second place, and I think the ideas, it's more urgent for me to express that hybridity, that kind of morphed identities, combined identities.